All right, it's time in this video to talk about our nature journaling activities for this week. And remember, you choose the things that most connect with you and most pique your interest and curiosity and works with your time frame. You can always come back another time for other ideas. Okay, so it's going to be helpful for you to use this curriculum guide and this week one journaling ideas sheet just to help you know what is available and ideas for you to start. So the first thing we talked about doing was to make a list in pencil of all the things you thought about that might be happening in April. And this was fun. I had forgotten some things. I know suddenly in the middle of this exercise, I remembered mud. You know, there's always some parts of these seasons we really, really look forward to that we kind of forget about. Yeah, I forgot about mud. I am looking forward to seeing a bunch of birds, and I wrote down ones. The goldfinches coming back. Hummingbirds usually arrive at my patio in April. I thought about weather, tornado warnings, thunderstorms, maybe rainbows, rainy days, kind of then. There's also those hot sunny days where you suddenly need sunglasses. And that spring green came to mind. We see such a bright green everywhere during this month. Anyway, you get the idea. I hope you came up with a really fun list. I would love to see these posted on the private Facebook group if you're part of that and would be willing. Just be so fun to kind of compare notes with what we all think April is about. Okay, so next on the list is to create a Pinterest board with some nature journaling page ideas. I did that myself, but I'll tell you what I was a little bit disappointed with in Pinterest. I think people are only pinning their perfectly beautiful nature journal pages. So be aware of that you don't get stuck in the scarcity mindset of needing to only have a beautiful page. I think we need to go and pin some normal everyday pages so people like us can get some ideas of different layouts. I also just drew up some ideas, and it's one of the handouts of different kinds of nature journaling page layout ideas. So you could paste this into your journal. I wanted to mention, if you have one of these watercolor journals like I'm using, you will notice that the front of the paper has a different texture than the back side, and that's just how watercolor paper is. So I prefer to do my paintings on that rougher side. The back side is gonna work fine for painting too. It's just gonna be a little bit different. So I decided what I would do is try to keep the paintings on the front side, the paintings that I was really invested in, and then to keep the back side for more writing exercises or pasting things in. I didn't write out my flower list. I just pasted in this list since it's my list for my area. Keep that in mind though, front and back are gonna be a little bit different. Start a weather record for April. I started that here. I think I have one from 2 years ago. This is what it looks like. It's just fun to see, you know, how things go over the month. So this was April 1st, 2 years ago. The high was 44. Not much different from today, high of 37. This you have to remember to add to every day, although I don't know if you have this in your area. I can just Google Brownsburg weather history. That's the little town I live in, and it brings up a website where it tells me the high and low for every day in the past. So you better believe it, that's how I get more than half the data for my nature journals. If I haven't written it down on the day, I check out that website. Okay, Spend some time in your sit spot and record what you find. Let's see, there is a sort of a prompt sheet that you can use. Of course, you don't have to use it. You can write your own down. Oh, I thought, yes, there's 2 pages to it. You can write it on this or just write it straight into your journal, whatever you want. Go on a wildflower hunt, and there is another sheet for that. Okay, I haven't filled that one out. It looks similar to the one for the sit spot, but it has different questions on it. So I know what I did. I recorded my information directly on this page. So you could do that. You could take whatever information from your wildflower hunt, put it straight on here. Look for tree blossoms and create a journal page about maple blossoms or whatever blossoms you might find in your yard right now. I have one of these in my front yard. Create a journal page about robins and their nest. This was the page I spent the most amount of time on, and I wanted it to just really have a lot of color on it. I am intending to go back throughout the month and make little notes, like when is the day I find a broken shell on the sidewalk, or where I discover some robin's nests. So I really want this to be the beginning of my journal, and throughout the month to go back and add to this page. Okay, and then there is a page about Siberian squill. This is our bulb for this week, and I've only just really learned about this one in the last few years, and it's lovely. So create a page about Siberian squill, get the words right here, and write down some information about it. Now, I have included a wildflower checklist in the handouts. Now, this is based on Indiana, where I live. So use it as a starting point. If you don't happen to live right near me, you need to adjust this. I know Ohio has these checklists real easy to find on their website. I bet a lot of states do. I did not find one for Indiana. I had to make my own. But it will be really helpful for you if you know what to expect to find in the woods at this time of year. Okay, practice some spring greens, especially if you are new to watercolor. I mean, I still find this helpful to do at every season. Watch the video on mixing colors, practice painting these greens. Just put it straight into your notebook. There's also, I don't have the sample here. There is a spattering technique video, which we'll be using more of in the future when we create more eggs. Let's see. Finally, you could just choose your own subject and create your own nature journal page. So, time for you to get outside and explore some nature, make observations to come back home and work on your journal. I suggest use your phone. If you have a phone with a camera, use it as a guide. I mean, not a guide, a tool for helping you nature journal. I use it to find the temperature. I take pictures when I'm out on a walk so I can easily remember when I get home what to journal about, and then I'll have a photo to paint from. Also, I don't just keep this kind of a journal. I have a little 5-year diary that I note down the weather and any special find every day. And there's no pressure with that. I mean, it's just like 5 words and 2 temperatures. But over time, it builds up information and it's really helpful. So you could even just start that way. All right, well, I think that is all of our ideas for this week. I hope you have a wonderful time exploring nature and can't wait to see what you discover.